This will defend.
Fly Army.
Above the best.
Welcome to class. Offer a live stream of this graduation ceremony on USAC's YouTube channel. The QR code that links to the site is found on the last page of the program, as well on the monitors next to the stage. We will begin the ceremony momentarily once the live stream has started. Thank you. Good morning, graduates, family members, and guests. On behalf of Major General Michael McCurry, Commanding General, United States Army Aviation Center of Excellence in Fort Novosel, welcome to the graduation ceremony for flight school. Would everyone please stand for the invocation and the playing of the national anthem? Chaplain Nathan Perry will give our invocation.
I invite you to join me in prayer. God, thank you for today and for everyone here this morning, as well as all those who have gone before to bear witness and to carve a path for us to follow. And as we are here in the midst of the rich history of this place, we are thankful for the legacy that has been left behind and the way that has been paved. These soldiers before us today, these aviators, would not only be able to achieve what these greats have achieved, but that they'd be able to stand on their shoulders and achieve even greater things, leaving a legacy of their own for the next generation. And in this, we pray that you would grant wisdom and strength, honor and success to each one here as they turn the page and begin this new chapter in their careers and lives. We pray these things in your name. Amen.
Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. Gentlemen, please remove your headdress. Thank you. You may be seated. Please welcome Lieutenant Colonel Brian Haas, 1st Battalion, 14th Aviation Regiment.
Good morning, and welcome to the graduation ceremony. Family members, friends, and instructors, thank you for your support in commemorating this tremendous occasion. We are delighted each of you can celebrate with us this morning. Attending the ceremony, representing the United States Army Aviation Center of Excellence are Colonel Christopher Logston, Deputy Commandant for the Army National Guard and Senior Guard Advisor. Colonel Mary Elizabeth Scott, Deputy Assistant Commandant for the United States Army Reserve. Lieutenant Colonel Mark Axtell, Commander, 1st of the 145th Aviation Regiment. Chief Warrant Officer 5 Ed Carman, Senior Guard Advisor to the Deputy Commanding General of the Army National Guard. Chief Warrant Officer 5 Nigel Hebsher, Command Chief Warrant Officer, 1st Aviation Brigade. Command Sergeant Major John Bonilla, 1st Aviation Brigade. We would also like to welcome Colonel Christopher Corkery, United States Army retired, Chief Warrant Officer 5, Darren Johnson, Aviation Chief Officer of Accessions with the United States Army Reserve, headquarters at Fort Liberty. Chief Warrant Officer 5, David Miller, United States Army retired. Command Sergeant Major Edwin Rivera, United States Army retired. Thank you for joining us. To our newest Army aviators, congratulations on achieving a significant milestone. In just a few minutes, your flight school journey will come to an end as your friends and family pin the wings you've worked so hard to achieve on your chest. I hope they will always remind you of the professional aviators who trained you, the special community you now represent, and the sacred duty we have to support the ground force. The ground force is depending on you to get them where they need to be, when they need to be there, or to protect them from the enemy. When you find yourself on the receiving end of a desperate plea for help, I know you will respond. Moving heaven and earth to help the men and women on the ground, because that's what Army Aviation is all about. We exist to support the ground force. I'm proud of you and eager to see each of you realize your full potential as Army aviators. Before I introduce our guest speaker, I would like to quickly reiterate the process for pinning our aviators. Your aviator will be called forward, cross the stage, and then stand before the stage to await their family, friends, spouses, or children to come up and pin their wings. The master of ceremony will cue you by saying, "Please come forward to pin your aviator." At that time, please come forward and pin the wings on your aviator. Take a moment to celebrate this momentous occasion before returning to your seats. The stage will be available after graduation for you to take as many additional photographs as you would like. This is a defining moment in all of your lives and one you will never forget. Congratulations to all of you. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce the guest speaker for today's graduation ceremony. Colonel Richard Tucker is a master aviator with more than 26 years of military service. He received his bachelor's degree and commission from the United States Military Academy in West Point. He is rated in the OH-58 Delta, Kiowa Warrior, and the UH-60 Alpha, Lima, and Mike Black Hawk helicopters. During his time in the Army, he received numerous awards and decorations for his service and served in a number of key positions at the tactical, operational, and strategic levels around the world in combat, humanitarian assistance, and peacekeeping operations in joint and multinational environments. Some previous assignments include Company and Battalion Commander, Battalion and Brigade S3 and XO, Deputy Brigade Commander, Aide-de-Camp, and Commandant Command J37. He recently served as the commander of the 1st Aviation Brigade here at Fort Novosel and is currently the USACE Chief of Staff. Please welcome Colonel Richard Tucker.
Distinguished guests, families and friends, and last but certainly not least, flight school graduates, good morning and welcome to your flight school graduation. On behalf of Major General Michael McCurry, Commanding General of the United States Army Aviation Center of Excellence and Fort Novosel, I want to be the first to say congratulations. You know, it was more than 20 years ago that I was sitting right over here. I remember attending graduation ceremony. We had a different carpet. My wife came up and pinned my wings on, and someone grabbed a photo that we had to develop at Walgreens later, and I'm pretty sure we went out in town for lunch. But what I have absolutely no idea of who the guest speaker was. I'm sure it was somebody experienced. I'm sure they had great things to say. So the bar is set low right now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably speaking to all of the family and friends that are here, and for you, you're just gonna start your stopwatches here to get to walk across the stage. So it's fair, know your operating environment, correct? Hey, it's a true honor to spend time with you this morning on this momentous occasion. It's a big deal. You worked hard, and you accomplished something many young boys and girls only dream of. But you certainly did not do it by yourselves. Your presence today is a result of a team effort. Thank you to Lieutenant Colonel Haas, the 1st of the 14th team for this graduation ceremony, the 1st of the 145th, the museum, and the G3 for this memorable event to culminate the months of training each new aviator here completed. To your families, friends, loved ones, instructor pilots, academic instructors, cadre, and everyone else that enabled your success. Your guidance and support has led each of these officers to this significant moment in their lives. And without you, many of them would not be sitting here today. I am keenly aware of the pride and honor you must feel for these future leaders, and I know based on the uniforms that I see and the showers and the collared shirts that a lot of you feel the same way. To our future aviators sitting here, you will soon pin on these shiny silver wings that mark you as an Army aviator. 52 sets of wings to be awarded today, 23 commissioned officers, and 29 warrant officers. As an Army aviator, you will soon deliver soldiers in the darkest of nights to a landing zone in the vicinity of the objective area. You will locate, identify, and wreak havoc on the enemy with your weapon systems. You will disrupt and disintegrate the communications and defenses of our adversaries. You will pick up our wounded and save lives. You will team with uncrewed air vehicles. You will transport thousands of pounds of equipment and supplies. You'll fly higher than you expected and lower than treetop level in the blistering sun, icy cold, wind, rain, snow, mountains, desert, over water, and at night. But most importantly, you will lead our most precious asset, our soldiers. You will positively impact lives with your care, compassion, example, technical, and tactical experience. This graduation marks the point at which you've been given the basic tools to develop yourself and others. This is a great achievement, but as one phase ends, another always begins. This is truly the start of your career as an Army aviator, and you now have the responsibility to master your craft and continue to learn and progress. Set goals and work to achieve them. Power through readiness level progression. Lead your units. Perform as a pilot in command and as an air mission commander. The norm for a senior leader as a guest speaker at any event is to share 3 to 5 points that they learned which could be taken by you and applied to your blossoming careers. But remember the intro, I expect very little retention from this discussion. So today I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to leave you with some questions. The stakes are high. This is a serious business we're in, and your approach at your next assignment should account for that. True leaders, through their actions, instill calm, direction, and focus in their subordinates. They leverage the capabilities of their organizations to work together as a team to accomplish almost any mission. They care for the members of their team with empathy, yet simultaneously hold them to a high standard and push them beyond their own comfort levels. This will be true for you in an aircraft or on the ground. Mediocre officers are sufficient when everything is going smoothly and as planned. But none of you are mediocre, and all of you will be tested when things go wrong. So my questions to each of you are the following. First, what type of person are you? And second, what type of leader will you grow to be? The proof is in the execution, the impacts you have, and the legacy you leave. So go make a difference and ensure you and your soldiers can fight and win. Be prepared to fly, to shoot, to navigate, to take initiative, and to do it at night under fire. There is no second place in combat. I'm truly excited for all of you. You are the future of our aviation branch. Thank you for what you've signed up to do. Congratulations to each and every one of you, and all of my best to you, your soldiers, and your families. Above the best, fly Army.
Thank you, Colonel Tucker, for your inspiring remarks. At this point in the ceremony, we honor those graduates who have excelled in the course. Graduates who are within the top 20% of their class receive special recognition as Commandant's List graduates, honor graduates, or distinguished graduates. The distinguished graduate is the title bestowed upon those officers who attain the highest overall scholastic average throughout the entire course of instruction. As the title implies, it is the mark of excellence representing outstanding achievement in academic and flight endeavor. The distinguished graduate receives engraved sterling silver wings provided by the Army Aviation Association of America, plus an additional gift from the Military Officers Association of America. At this time, I take pleasure in announcing the distinguished graduate from Class 24 015. Lieutenant Andrew Corkery. First Lieutenant Corkery is active duty and the distinguished graduate. He's an AH-64 Echo pilot. Please come forward and pin your aviator. We will now recognize the remaining top 20%. Lieutenant Spencer Alexander. First Lieutenant Alexander is active duty and an honor graduate. He is an AH-64 Echo pilot. Lieutenant Brandon Harder. First Lieutenant Harder is active duty. He is an AH-64 Echo pilot. Lieutenant Tucker Hill. First Lieutenant Hill is active duty. He is a CH-47 Fox pilot. Lieutenant Hayden Hiddle, the second. Second Lieutenant Hiddle is Army National Guard and an honor graduate. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Tennessee. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Warrant Officer Mark Ainsworth. W1 Ainsworth is Army National Guard and an honor graduate. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Alabama. Warrant Officer John Cook. W1 Cook is active duty and an honor graduate. He is an AH-64 Echo pilot. Warrant Officer Austin Pacheco. W1 Pacheco is Army National Guard and an honor graduate. He's a CH-47 Fox pilot and is based out of Montana. Warrant Officer Jesse Spann. W1 Spann is active duty and an honor graduate. He's a C-12 pilot. Now we will recognize the remainder of the class in alphabetical order by rank. Lieutenant Luis Anderson. First Lieutenant Anderson is active duty. He is an AH-64 Echo pilot. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Lieutenant Michael Arnold. First Lieutenant Arnold is active duty. He is an AH-64 Echo pilot. Lieutenant John Botheim. First Lieutenant Botheim is Army National Guard. He's a CH-47 Fox pilot and is based out of Washington. Lieutenant Andrew Brown. Second Lieutenant Brown is Army National Guard. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Arkansas. Lieutenant Luke Grayson. Second Lieutenant Grayson is Army National Guard. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Missouri. Lieutenant Robert Kirkland. First Lieutenant Kirkland is active duty. He is an AH-64 Echo pilot. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Lieutenant Roman Leone. First Lieutenant Leone is active duty. He's an AH-64 Echo pilot. Lieutenant Alfonso Martinez. Second Lieutenant Martinez is Army National Guard. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Georgia. Lieutenant Ryan Mesmer. Second Lieutenant Mesmer is Army National Guard. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Wisconsin. Lieutenant Lane Mitchell. First Lieutenant Mitchell is active duty. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot. Lieutenant Wyatt Pascal. First Lieutenant Pascal is active duty. He's an AH-64 Echo pilot. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Lieutenant Emily Pickrell. Second Lieutenant Pickrell is Army National Guard. She's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Missouri. Lieutenant Natalia Rivera. First Lieutenant Rivera is active duty. She's a UH-60 Mike pilot. Lieutenant Felipe Sanchez. Second Lieutenant Sanchez is Army National Guard. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of New Mexico. Lieutenant Connor Smythe. First Lieutenant Smythe is active duty. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot. Lieutenant Peter Vandenberg. Second Lieutenant Vandenberg is Army National Guard. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Michigan. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Lieutenant Isaac Waters. Second Lieutenant Waters is Army National Guard. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of West Virginia. Captain Dylan Wold. Captain Wold is Army National Guard. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Arizona. Warrant Officer Stephen Ashton. W1 Ashton is active duty. He is a UH-60 Mike pilot. Warrant Officer Ever Benavides. W1 Benavides is active duty. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot. Warrant Officer Jared Bennett. W1 Bennett is active duty. He is a UH-60 Mike pilot. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Warrant Officer Eric Bones. W1 Bones is active duty. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot. Warrant Officer Amanda Bugarin Palomiri. W1 Bugarin Palomiri is active duty. She is an AH-64 Echo pilot. Warrant Officer Tyler De La Rosa. W1 De La Rosa is active duty. He's a C-12 pilot. Warrant Officer William Dingledine. W1 Dingledine is Army National Guard. He's a CH-47 Fox pilot and is based out of South Carolina. Warrant Officer George Gray, Jr. W1 Gray is active duty. He is an AH-64 Echo pilot. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Warrant Officer John Kolb. W1 Kolb is active duty. He's an AH-64 Echo pilot. Warrant Officer Mason Landon. W1 Landon is active duty. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot. Warrant Officer Christopher Leon Guerrero. W1 Leon Guerrero is Army National Guard. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Guam. Warrant Officer James McCurry. W1 McCurry is Army National Guard. He's an H-64 Echo pilot and is based out of Texas. Warrant Officer Christopher Miner. W1 Miner is active duty. He's a CH-47 Fox pilot. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Warrant Officer Paul Wabi. W1 Wabi is active duty. He is an AH-64 Echo pilot. Warrant Officer Gregory Osmer. W1 Osmer is Army National Guard. He's a CH-47 Fox pilot and is based out of Michigan. Warrant Officer Stephen Perkins. W1 Perkins is Army Reserve. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Florida. Warrant Officer Simeon Reiswig. W1 Reiswig is active duty. He's an H-64 Echo pilot. Warrant Officer Isaias Rivas. W1 Rivas is active duty. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot. Warrant Officer Matthew Smith. W1 Smith is Army National Guard. He is a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Maryland. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Warrant Officer Leah Spangler. W1 Spangler is Army National Guard. She's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Indiana. Warrant Officer Charles Steinberg. W1 Steinberg is Army National Guard. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Minnesota. Warrant Officer Joshua Wagner. W1 Wagner is active duty. He is an AH-64 Echo pilot. Warrant Officer Mark Webb. W1 Webb is Army National Guard. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot and is based out of Illinois. Warrant Officer Nicholas Willingham. W1 Willingham is active duty. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot. Warrant Officer Aaron Wooten. W1 Wooten is active duty. He's a UH-60 Mike pilot. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Graduates, please stand. Please join me in a round of applause for the Army's newest aviation warfighters. Would everyone please stand or remain standing for the playing of the aviation song, Above the Best, and the Army song, The Army Goes Rolling Along. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the graduation ceremony. Thank you for celebrating with us and enjoy the rest of your day. Class leader, please dismiss the class.